Welcome to Live and Raw Business Breakthroughs. I'm excited for you guys to be here today. I got a really special treat about profitability and how to figure out where your profitability is in your business. And it's really, really important that you know where this is so that you can figure out exactly whether or not you are making money. And if you're not making money, what things can you do to fix it? Because typically, especially in the service industry, if you're not making the money that you expected to make, it's because you didn't get the job done right the first time and you had to go back and fix it, or you ended up with cost overruns, or you ended up doing more work on the job site and you never actually collected any money for it. So let's jump in and let me show you really quick, a very quick and easy way for you to figure out where you're at in your business for profitability. Now, if you're using an accounting platform like QuickBooks or something similar to that, you can just quickly go in there and type in profit and loss statement, bring up the report, and the very top line is your revenue. Then you have your cost of goods sold. That gives you your gross profit. And then very bottom line is your net profit after all the other expenses come off. So first of all, I want to just talk about really quickly, revenue is all the money that you bring in from all your sales. It doesn't matter whether you're selling a widget, a gadget, or if you're delivering a service to the client. So that's your top line revenue. Then your cost of goods is expenses that you can directly track right back to that project. That if you didn't have that project to do, you would not have incurred that expense. So that's what cost of goods are. And then your overhead is all the other expenses that you need to continue to run your business, right? Rent for your shop, rent for your trucks, fuel. Sometimes fuel can be attributed directly to the project, so there's a fine line there. But all the other expenses like heating, power, electricity, your accounting software, all that stuff, we call those fixed costs. Those are overhead, and that's going to be a little bit different. So if you can figure out your profit on every project, if you know what your revenue is, you know what your cost of goods are, and you know what your overhead is, and you can figure that out for the year, for the day, for the month, for the day, for the week, whatever you need to do. So let me just jump in here real quick, and I'll just show you a quick example, right? It's a revenue. As you guys can see, I can spell. That's good. So for this example, let's say revenue for where we're at is 300,000 right now. Our cost of goods, right? So all our expenses, let's say those are 120K. No, sorry, 180K. And our overhead, right? So all our fixed expenses, let's say those are 60K, okay? So how do we figure out what our profitability is? So the easiest thing to do is, first of all, let's figure out what your gross profit is. So gross profit is your revenue minus your cost of goods, right? So in this case, that's 300K minus 180K, which equals 120K. So that's your profit. Divide that by 300K, which is your revenue, right? Divided by revenue, and that gives you your percentage of gross profit. So in this case, 120 divided by 300 is 0.40. Move the decimal over, it's 40%. Okay. So let's look at how do we get to net profit. Net profit is simply your gross profit minus your overhead. Okay, so in this case, gross profit was $180,000 or 180,000K minus 60,000, which is our overhead, equals, we have a profit of 120K net profit. Divide that by 300K again, and that now gives us what our net profit percentage is. So in this case, it's 0.20, move the decimal over, you've got 20%. Does that make sense for you guys? Now that's the math's really simple. Now, what's really important is if you don't have an accounting program or your data is not up to date in your accounting program, go through your bank statements and figure that out. Go and if you can do this for every month, every week that you're in business, you know exactly week to week where you're at, you're going to be able to start to steer your boat a little bit better, because you're going to start looking at, hey, my gross profit's not where it should be. I didn't make any money on that project. How come? And you can go back and look at it and try to start to figure out why you didn't get that profit that you needed. Was it because you had to go back and do rework because it wasn't done right? Was it because the client had issues and he wanted you to do something more, but you forgot to track that and bill them extra for it? You know, I've had clients where their supervisor would make promises to the client and never get any approval from management, and they go and do this extra work and they lost thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's not something where I want you guys to be. So you need to know exactly where you're at every week in your profit and loss on your business, especially your gross profit. So if you guys are not, if you're not aiming for a 50% gross profit margin on all your projects, you need to look at, how do I figure out how to get that up there? What do I have to do to make sure I get that? Because if you can get the gross profit up to 50%, I'll guarantee you, you're making enough money on your project that you can pay yourself, you can pay your staff, and you can put a little bit back into the business to help it grow. Make sense? So if, let's say, let's kind of maybe jump in, and for lack of, for this example, let's say you don't have a software package. How do you figure this out? So let's go look at your 12 months of bank statements, right? And you can do this for the year. So you can figure out what your profitability is for the year. You can do it by the month as well. I want you to add up all the debits, right? That's all the expenses that come out of your bank account. And I want you to break them into two categories. The first category is all the fixed expenses. So that's stuff like insurance, you know, power bill, gas bill, water bill, anything that, you know, your wages for the office staff, any of those expenses that you guys have to pay, you know, software, stuff like that. Those are fixed expenses. That's what we call the overhead side of the business, right? That's the overhead side. And then I want you to break it into the other side. And this might be easier to do first, to do the cost of goods. Break out all the debits that you can track to go right to that project that you worked on that week, right? Or the next week, or whatever those cost of goods are that can go right directly to that project, right? That is something that we want to be able to make happen. Okay. So once you got that figured out, then add up all your credits, and that equals your profit. Pardon me, your revenue. Sorry, revenue. Oh my goodness, I can't even spell now. What the heck? I'm gonna try this all over again. Revenue. Right? So now that we have your revenue from this line, then we can start to go, okay, here's our cost of goods. And then here's our overhead. And then we can go back to this screen. And we can start to figure out, where are we at for our gross profit, right? So I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you have any comments that you want to put out there, throw them in the chat, throw them in the comment section. This is going to go out on Facebook and YouTube. So if you have questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. DM me if you want. Let's have a conversation. And maybe I can help you get your gross profit up to 50% and get you putting money in your account. Now, what's really important about the gross profit in your business, and I'm going to say this, if it's not at 40% or 50% or even higher, that you're probably stealing from your family to feed your business. And I don't want you guys to do that anymore. You guys need to learn to start paying yourselves first and then run your business, right? You don't want to kill your business. You don't want to starve your business, but you don't want to starve your family either, right? So make some comments, subscribe, give me a quick ding, and let's have a chat and see what we can do to help you guys out. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Stay tuned. We're going to have more coming about finance here in the coming weeks for sure. And I've got a lot of stuff that I'm really excited about sharing with you guys about how to make better business decisions with knowing where you're at in your business, right? Knowing what your profitability is, knowing how much money you don't have in the bank account, but what you have in your business, so you can take advantage of opportunities as they come along. Cool. All right, guys, it has been great. We'll talk to you soon.